What's going on, all you beautiful people? And wanted to say what's up. It's my birthday. Just hit the big 4-3, and it's also been a year on August 4th, actually. That was the day of my accident. So a lot has changed in life over the past year. A lot of enlightenment, a lot of body changes, of course, and a lot of improvements relationship-wise for family, with the kids, with the wife, everything. A lot of things have changed. I'm just going to touch a little bit on that in this talk. But first off, I want to give some updates since it's been a while. Things are doing good. Physically, I got control of my lower abs. So what that means is I can actually push down, kind of makes me poop a little bit. I'm slowly getting more and more air, so that pushing that much of the lungs is big and new. So that allows me to cough on my own before I needed like a cough assist from my wife on some of those big loogies. So that's no longer needed per se. If I really need to get it, then sure. But for the most part, all I have to do is just try and actually cough. And now I have that cough. Shouting out to the kids. Before, I couldn't really, hey, they're upstairs. I need to call them down real quick. Wasn't really happening that well. And now it is. So that's a good thing. You never thought all this stuff would be added up, but it does. And yeah, I'm grateful for that. That just shows that the nerves are moving, are growing. And what I found out is that there's different groups of nerves in my arm going from where the damage was on my neck. So the fusion, 1 year anniversary, of course, of the fusion on that one. And then the following Tuesday is when they actually had to decompress everything, which was great. I just read up on my files not too long ago. That's why I kind of remember that date. And then a week later, on the 13th, is actually when I got my little belly button on my throat, is what my kids call it. My daughter was like, "Oh, you got a belly button on your throat. That sucks." And just hopped away while I was in the hospital. That was awesome. I don't know where she got it from. Definitely ain't from me. But that was one thing that was crazy because apparently they thought I was going to be a nutcase. Because when I had the breather in my mouth, it was actually just getting into it was very uncomfortable. It was hitting the back of my throat, really bad, and it was irritable. So I was livid in the hospital, so much so that it would just put me into a controlled coma for the most part. And I was out for a week. I had the surgery on that Sunday, and then all the way up until the following, until I got the trach, is really when I started remembering, okay, I'm up all day. Because anytime they would get me up, I'll tolerate it for a little bit, and then I would just start freaking out. I was like, "Oh, this hurts. This hurts. I hate it." And I'll just be gnawing on it. And we're like, "You can't gnaw on it, sir. You can't gnaw on it." I'm like, and then next thing you know, night. I'll see a doctor in the morning. So it was pretty bad. But, got through it, got the trach. And then from there, the nurse was like, "Oh, he's always smiling." And my mom and everybody else was like, "Yeah, that's how he actually is." And I was like, "Oh, this whole time we thought he may have hit his head so hard that he was really damaged." And then I later on, I told them the story when I could barely talk. I told them all the story. They were like, "Oh, yeah, because we thought you were going to be a case, because you were just gnawing, and that isn't something that others haven't done before." So I was like, "Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. I can see where you're coming off on that on." But yeah, so with it being the year, want to say big thanks to a lot of people that got me through this. In no particular order, just shooting off from my head. Family, of course. Wife being the biggest. I mean, with us being home, with me being home since December, that's going on 9 months. As far as me being home in this condition and her having to deal with the kids, huge kudos to her. She's the number one right there for dealing with a lot of the stuff. Luckily, I don't have a lot of mental issues that she has to cope with me, whether it's bad mouthing or anything like that. I don't do all that. That's something that I don't see as needed at all. And some people do go through those situations, but I'll talk about that on another time. Aside from that, of course, my mom, she's just been like the logistical person, setting up meetings, setting up stuff to go to other places. And one of the things, I just got into the Kennedy Krieger Institute of the Spinal Injury. And what that means is that I'll be going to an outpatient service that uses, that is a 2-hour session. And then each session, they've showed different things that they've done. You can have obviously a one-on-one, like with the physical therapist, but they also have sessions where they'll add in another person or 3 and robotics as well. So if you're walking on a treadmill, 1 person per leg, you're on a hoist to just make sure you're low or high enough to get the motions going, and then we'll go from there. So how often would that be? We'll see. But with the transport funds that folks have given in, even all the way back to the DC Pro, a huge thanks to everybody that's been supporting me throughout this situation. This is going to help pay for transport to there. The next thing, and that's at the end of September, will be my first day. The beginning of September, going over to UMM for a clinical, right back to the trauma center. But they wanted to observe my case, so I'm going to be a case study for them. So going out there in the early morning, they're going to run through their tests, and they're paying for everything, transport and all. So unique situation. I'll talk more on that once I get back. Current PT has currently halted. Basically, I met a lot of my goals, which is kind of weird that they do that. When you hit your goals, they start trying to taper off. And my counter was that, hey, I need you to help me stay consistent. So, hey, you've been coming in here helping me do a bunch of stuff. Now, can you just help me stay consistent on doing that work? Because I believe that's some of the stuff that we did in the last bit that helped those abs, the lower abs, come in. Because once I passed the goal of, hey, you're not hurting anymore while you're working, and your arms are getting stronger, I can move them a lot more. I gotta do a little video dance later at some point. Once that goal was basically met, they were like, okay, we gotta get going. And so I was like, no, let's work on the abs. I need to work on my core. I want to try and sit up more, etc. And lo and behold, August 1st, that weekend, was that the 1st? 2nd, I felt them. I was like, at first I thought it was like a little spasm, but then next thing you know, it was actually it was both a combo that I can control and push my abs along with what I'm calling helper spasms that started working and squeezing. So man, it was awesome. And then from there, just kind of gave it a few days before I told anyone, and had some tests, me pushing on it, Carrie pushing on my stomach, and also when I had to poop, trying to see what I can do as far as trying to shoot that thing out. But no, it all worked out. And I'm so grateful for that experience of everything slowly coming back. Now, I still have my little paw hands. So when it comes to the nerves that controls these, it's a little bit further down, or it's in that group set of spine. And the ones that control my arms, how I control them now, versus the smaller stuff, like if I wanted to like pick my hand up, I can't do it right now because that uses the inner forearm. I don't have control of that. I didn't know that that was tied. So we found that out. Okay, that's a different group set of nerves. And then you probably heard people, okay, my pinky and my ring finger are numb, but the others are fine, because that's a different set of nerves. So there's about 4 group set of nerves that come down to control your arm and all the way to your fingertips with sensations and details. So although something may work to make you move your fingers, the touch sensation will be on another group. So it's very interesting how all this has come together and worked. But yeah, just want to go back to my thank yous. Have the family, of course, Harry with Minority Mountain Bikers. Big thanks, man. Great seeing you the other day when you came through. He helped out with the GoFundMe. So everybody that has helped out with the funds and support, thank you, thank you, thank you. That has been a great help in this situation for sure. As we said, with all the parts and gear that we got, to transportation, to medicine, it's surprising just how expensive this stuff is, you know? So, that's just nuts. So that's from the mountain biking community. With the SCCA community, big ups to everybody again with all the support. Led with Justin, Neil, along with Danny Cal. Huge thanks. Norm, you're a big one too. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the committee that helped set up the stuff for the DC Pro and everything. So it's amazing how the communities, we all end up as family. Try not to cry on this call. So on this video. So trying to hold that in. Let's hold it. So yeah, all the support from the friends, family. Just had a birthday party with all my friends. Just a big thanks. What a year. What a year. Still here. Still going through it. In a positive sense. I don't really have many days that I look at it in the negative at all. I did have one after watching a video of a guy that got injured similarly in high school 6-7 years ago. And there hasn't been as much improvement as I'm having. And then reality just sets, like, this was before I got to control my abs, that, hey, the reality is that it could stop. The nerve growing could stop and everything. So aside from that, I've been good mentally. I know a lot of people ask that. I'm a weird guy when it comes to things. I don't think about that a lot, especially too long, because that would just get you into a dark place, and nobody needs that. That's nothing for me, nothing for my family, and especially my kids to see. So yeah, not gonna be about that life. Gotta stay strong and do what you gotta do. Do your workouts. Tell your brain that you still want those to move. When doing the stretches, as I was saying with the PT, told them, hey, let's start working on the abs. Start doing stretches, bends, and other workouts to put pressure in that area. And then next thing you know, within a month, boom, I got my abs back. That's no coincidence. So, and then they stop. So we're going to work that out. But the next goal, of course, are the arms, seeing what else I can do with my arms, since I've been doing workouts with them quite a bit. So I think it's just a matter of keeping that on. And then the next thing, of course, is tackling stuff with my legs. So Yeah, that's it. Oh man, we already hit 15 minutes. Sorry about that. I wanted to try and make this one a little bit shorter, but I want to just give a thanks to so many people out there in groups. Sorry if I missed your name. I know I had some on the DC Pro recap. Yeah, that's all I can say about that at the moment. But thank you. Wound is the last thing. That's gotten real small, folks. There's no more tunneling where the overlapping skin, normally the muscle didn't grow up there yet. It's all growing in, baby. So all I have now is a 1 by 1 by 1 in centimeters wound. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. The new mattress, a grade 2 mattress, I believe has made all the new changes because it doesn't put much pressure on the wound. And then now, hopefully in the next month or two, that'll be fully healed is what we're hoping. So as long as everything stays clean and just keeping strong and diet. So yeah, aside from that, still working on some other things, minor, nothing major. And then we'll go from there. So I'll send us an update whenever that goes through. Been kind of a long wait to get this stuff done, small things. But that is it, folks. I want to say thank you again. If you're still here, listening to me ramble and everything and show my nice little collarbone at y'all, And so it's the birthday. Gotta get me some cheesecake. And yeah, have a nice little brew waiting for me as well. So thank you again. Love all you guys. And I'll catch y'all sometime. Don't be a stranger. All right, take care. See you on the next one. 3,